Gorgeous, welcome back to Life in Style. Today's video is actually going to be a little different than what I've done before. I wanted to start a video series and also a blog series on my channel and on my website about my experience with bariatric surgery. This first video is going to be why I decided to actually have the surgery. Then I'll talk about my experience the day of and in the hospital, and then post-surgery, probably like the first 2 or 3 weeks, maybe the first month, and then thereafter kind of keep you up to date with the diet, the exercise, and the results and all of the good stuff that I'm seeing, the positive results that I'm seeing from deciding to have this surgery. So the first thing that I can tell you about myself is that I'm a very emotional eater. If I'm happy, I eat. If I'm sad, I eat. If I'm angry, I eat. If I'm depressed or anxiety-ridden, I eat. It didn't matter. If something really great happened, I wanted McDonald's. I wanted a Big Mac and French fries because I was happy, and I wanted that taste of that fat and that saltiness and all that. If I was pissed off or had a really nasty day, I wanted the same thing for the different purpose, that I just needed to indulge in something that would make me happy, even if it was for, 10 or 15 minutes. So for me, it's not one of those things where, oh, it's only if I'm happy or only if I'm sad. It didn't matter what the emotions were, but when I was really deep into those emotions, whether it was really happy or really upset or sad or angry, I was more prone to overeat, and I was more prone to go for foods that just are not good for you. So that's the first thing. My relationship with food was not good at any time. Now, it didn't mean that I didn't like eating healthy foods. I love salads, I love vegetables and fruits, and all that stuff. I'm not that type of person to say, if you even show me a piece of lettuce, I will shoot you out of a rocket. That's not me at all. I could eat a really good salad and feel great, and not worry about, oh, this wasn't a burger, or I can't eat anything that's green or with salad dressing. Not me at all. But it's just that I love to eat. I love the taste of food. I love the way it makes me feel. If pizza's extra cheesy, that's my thing. And it wouldn't stop at 2 slices. It would stop at 5 or 6 slices. And if there were slices left, a couple of hours later, I was back in the box, just taking the piece of pizza, excuse me, without heating it up and just devouring it. So that for me has been most of my life, is my relationship with food, is that I just love to eat. Another reason why I decided to have bariatric surgery is that I would diet. I've dieted for many, many years, and when I was about, about 25 maybe, about a year and a half after my son was born, which was a very long time ago, I decided that I was going to start taking off that baby weight. At the time that I started, I was 180 pounds. I did Jenny Craig, went to the gym about 5 or 6 times a week. Sometimes I exercised twice a day, many of those days, and ended up losing 60 pounds in the span of about a year and a half. I got extremely thin. I was very happy with the way I looked. Felt very good in my skin because of the clothes that I could wear. And with depression and anxiety and just these little life, everybody internalizes things differently, but guy trouble and work trouble and just things that kind of kept piling up as the years kept rolling on, I started gaining the weight again. And I was able to keep the weight off for several years. Even after I finished Jenny Craig, they said, you're skinny enough, like you don't need to, do this anymore unless you want to maintain. But I was doing very well on my own. And even without the Jenny Craig, I was exercising and eating well on my own. Once you're without the crap food, and once your body starts getting used to not having that, you kind of feel good with what you're doing, and you don't want to miss a workout. You don't want to go back to eating all this crap. But again, as the years kept rolling on, life just got in the way, and I do suffer from depression, and I do suffer from anxiety. So as the years went on, that snowballed, and as I gained the weight, I'm like, oh, I just gained a little bit of weight. It's okay. It's 5 pounds. and then that turned into 15, and so on and so forth. And then when you get to that point where you're like, what the hell happened? It is way, way far gone. I will say that when I decided to get the surgery and I had my first appointment and I weighed in, I was 250 pounds. I never thought in a million years that I would ever see those numbers on a scale when I stepped on it. It's one of those things where you're like, I'd never get that big. And I did. And it was very uncomfortable for me. And understand that this video is my experience, how I felt. Somebody at 250 may feel absolutely fine, and that is absolutely fine. I'm not here to tell you that if you're 200 pounds, you're fat. If you're 250 pounds, you're fat. Like, that is not the intention of this video. The intention of this video is to just let you know my reasoning and kind of a little bit of my background as to why I decided that this was the right choice for me. Everyone has to make a choice for themselves. You know, if you're great at 120, perfect. If you're, perfectly happy at 200, absolutely perfect. I have absolutely no right, and neither does anyone else, to tell you anything about how you live your life and how you feel comfortable. That's the bottom line. But again, for me, I felt heavy. I looked heavy. I felt like I just felt weird walking. I just felt it. I felt that weight on me, and it did not feel good at all. I stopped really dressing up, and in my mind I'm like, you see so many plus size girls dressing the shit out of their clothes, looking absolutely gorgeous. Why can't you do that? And because I didn't feel attractive, because I didn't feel beautiful, because I didn't feel my best, a lot of times that will come out in the I'm just gonna put this on, I don't care what I look like. And that's basically where I have spent my last, I want to say, 5 or 6 years. And again, I have dieted. I have exercised, I have done spin class, I have done yoga, sometimes in conjunction with each other, the eating and the exercising, sometimes, one or the other. I know that it's best when you do them in conjunction. But I was like, okay, I had a leg injury, so I was like, okay, I can't exercise right now, so let me eat better. But I noticed that throughout the years, and I kept telling my husband that this weight is not coming off the way it used to. I know I was much younger then, but I'm not so old now that my metabolism should just have stopped, or this ability to lose this weight should just have stopped. I am convinced, again, these are my personal feelings and just my personal theories for me. I am on a lot of medication, and I am convinced that that is the problem with it. When I have lost the weight before, I wasn't on any medication, perhaps one, if any, at all. I am on several medications now, and I felt that that was the reason why I wasn't losing the weight. And my doctors have said that that could absolutely be a reason why, why it wasn't as easy as it was before. I wasn't noticing a lot of difference, and I wasn't noticing it fast. So that to me was kind of a red flag. Even though I was busting my ass, I was going to spin class 3 to 4 times a week, an hour each time, and really keeping up with this, where most people are like, oh my God, you do spin for an hour? I'm like, yeah, I love it. Like, you sweat and you're dirty and stinky, but you know that you're working those calories off. And even with doing that for several months and eating well, I just wasn't seeing that loss that I felt should have come with that kind of work, and also with the change in diet. So that was another reason why I thought that this was going to be a better choice for me. Another thing was the schedule. I had worked full-time. I'm working part-time now, but I was working full-time. I do have a son that's special needs, so what I would do is I put him on the bus in the morning. I would drive about 45 minutes to an hour to work, leave at 2 to rush home, meet his bus, and then rush back to work. And every day, so that was an hour and a half or so. My mom would pick him up at my job. She would take him home, and I would stay at work for an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. So this was every single day, Monday through Friday. Every single day, that was my commute. I was exhausted mentally. I was exhausted emotionally. I didn't feel like I was keeping up at work because I had a different job title then that was, I had a little more on my plate. So between that and rushing home during the afternoon, rushing back, if there was an accident, I was going to be late. By the time I got home after I picked him up, it was 6:30, almost 7 o'clock at night. then my husband would get home about the same time. He was still working at home, like from home for work, because he has a job that's extremely demanding. When we get home, nobody wants to cook. Nobody wanted to stand in front of a stove at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. So we ate out an awful amount of times a week. Like, we probably ate out 5 to 6 times out of the 7 days every week. And we're not talking healthy stuff. We're talking about crap. Chinese food, pizza, McDonald's, just all of the stuff that should be so in moderation and not every day that it was crazy. And we were both feeling the effects of that. Not only was I feeling the effects of that with my weight, but just with the way I was feeling. When your body is taking in crappy ass food, you feel much different. Your body doesn't function as well. And I am just speaking from experience as to how I felt when I was just eating McDonald's constantly, or how I feel now because I'm eating salads and more chicken and more fish and just healthier choices that I'm making, how overall I'm feeling with my body. So, timing and schedule was a huge contributor to not eating well at that time. Like I said, I'm now working part-time, so now I come home. We'll eat out maybe once a week, and then I will cook every other day at home. We also use Plated, which we get, our meals delivered. If you use any meal delivery systems, absolutely love it. I can't eat as much as I used to, of course, and we'll talk about that as the videos keep going, but it's stuff that I'm cooking at home. It's fresher ingredients. It's not going out and getting all this crap full of, additives and preservatives and fat and fried foods and all this kind of stuff. So we have also noticed a major change with how we're eating and how we're feeling because of that. So that was another reason why I not only had to make a work change, but why I knew I had to make an overall lifestyle change because of how I was feeling. So at that point, when I had finally had enough, I emailed my husband and I said, I'm going to look into bariatric surgery. And I thought he was going to say, like, why would you do that? Or that's the lazy way out or whatever. And all he emailed me back was, I think that's a good idea. Call your doctor. He knows the years and the days and the months and the hours of this, agonizing feelings that I always had about my weight. It's as simple as just not feeling good enough. And again, that's the way I internalized my weight. That's the way I internalized how I felt. So all other aspects of my life were very much affected. Even though I ate, I knew that I shouldn't be eating this stuff because I was already feeling fat. I ate it because it made me feel good. Or I ate it because, again, I was super happy or because I was super sad. And especially when I was angry or sad, I would go by, like the drive-thru. I'd get a Big Mac meal and six-piece chicken nugget and not give a shit. And I, in my mind, I'm like, you shouldn't be eating this because you're fat. That's the problem you have. And that's what's leading to this depression and this anxiety and all this. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't care. I'm already fat. I don't care. So it was this constant back and forth tug of war struggle in my mind with my emotions about this. But finally I said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I am 41 years old and I don't want to look into the future 5 years and still be in this position where even if I am trying to diet and trying to exercise, I'm starting and stopping, yo-yo dieting, not eating well, feeling this depression and that sort of thing. I had an option to take control of my life and I took it. Now, going back to saying that I thought my husband was going to say it was the lazy way out to get this surgery, I had been thinking about it for quite some time. I didn't know all of the details. So my first thought of that is, you can do this on your own. Don't be so damn lazy. That is such the lazy way out, to sit on a table or to lay on a table, get caught up and lose weight. We will go into what that is not. So I will talk about that in the next video because I'm going to talk about like what my pre-diet prerequisites were, because every insurance company is different, but we'll get into all of that in the next video. I'll tell you what I did, what had to be done before I got the surgery. Basically, thinking it's the lazy way out, absolutely incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. You will work as hard, if not harder, with this surgery than if you didn't have it. And again, we'll go into all of that. It is not an easy process. It is a process that I think takes a lot of time to think through. The surgery itself is not very invasive, so that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about the mentality of it, the emotional part of it is something that I really had to think through. But once I started going to my appointments, talking to the doctors, it was something that I was extremely excited about. I have had to change my life, my lifestyle, my eating habits, everything. So much more having the surgery than if I didn't have it. But I was ready for it because unfortunately, it is one of those things that it is, you know, that result or that decision is that final decision. Like, it can't go any further. This is it. Like, all the options are exhausted. And it was, you know, surgery. But for me, it was at that point my only option left. I don't regret it. Not 1 second. Not 1 minute. Even looking into the viewfinder now, I see the change in my face as opposed to how I used to look before the surgery. And even as I was doing videos, and I love doing videos, all I could think about in my mind is, your face looks so damn fat. And I was tired of feeling that way day in and day out. And I had to take control of what I couldn't do myself anymore. So for me, having bariatric surgery was the right choice to change my life. I am down about 35 pounds right now. I have gone from a size 22 to a very comfortable 18. And when I say very comfortable, it's because even the 18, like pants and stuff, are kind of falling off my waist. It just feels good. I feel lighter. I feel different. I just feel overall like what I'm supposed to feel, like myself. It doesn't feel like what I felt before the surgery, just very heavy. And, you know, I kept hitting these walls again with the depression and the anxiety and the work schedule and the, you know, I would diet for 2 weeks and eat well, and all of a sudden I was absolutely bored of chicken, fish, broccoli, asparagus, and salad, and then go have a big ass, you know, supersized McDonald's meal. I don't do that stuff anymore because I've changed my life, and I felt that this was going to be that springboard to help me do that, and it has absolutely done that. So I hope that you have taken something away from this video. Again, this is just what I feel, how I was feeling, why I made the decision to get bariatric surgery. I'm not going to give any medical advice because I cannot do that. I am not a professionally trained medical person. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor. All I can tell you is about my experience, and that's what these videos are going to do. So the next video is going to be what I had to do pre-surgery to actually get ready. It's not one of these things where you decide to get the surgery, the insurance approves it, and 2 weeks later you're in surgery. It doesn't work that way. There's a lot of preparation that goes into it. They need to make sure that you're mentally ready, you're emotionally ready. It is a huge, huge decision. But again, one decision that I am absolutely thrilled having made, and it has changed my life, and this was the right decision for me. So thanks for spending a few moments of your day with me. And again, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the description bar below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.